This is bad. This is very bad. We have a lot to talk about today and not much time to do it. I've got a flight in less than 2 hours. We've got catastrophic biblical rains in Texas. We've got a tropical storm brewing in the Atlantic, and we've got severe weather expected in the plains. We're gonna have all that and more in today's forecast starting now. I don't think I'm gonna make my plane. Hey, what's up, guys? Meteorologist Storm Cat 5 here, and we have got a lot to talk about today. Hopefully all of you had a wonderful July 4th, but we got to dive right in right now. Let's take a look at the visible satellite here. A couple of trouble spots that I'm looking on the map. We've got this area. Texas has been getting absolutely hammered with flooding rain. We've had almost 2 feet of rain fall in some spots. We've also got this tropical storm, and this is Tropical Storm Chantal here, spitting off the coast of Georgia and South Carolina, as well as another low pressure that's moving through the upper portions of the Midwest. That'll give us all of our severe weather today. Now, our East Coast brethren and Midwest brethren mostly are good. You guys are fine right now. And then also our Western brethren are cloud-free. You guys are beautiful right now. All right, so first I've got to show you this flooding that's happening in Texas is historic here. We have had, this is the past 24 hours on the radar, and check it out. We've got some storms that have formed near Austin and on the northwest side. This has been spanning 15 hours plus. We've got a flash flood emergency in place. We've got over 19 inches of rain that has fallen here. So this is the highest level of flash flooding. This is absolutely catastrophic type rain. My heart and prayers go out for all of our Texas brethren that have been affected or know someone that's been affected by this tragedy. There have been over 27 people reported dead and more are missing. My heart hurts for our Texas brethren. I am praying hard. Jesus, please be with the people of Texas. Please help them in any way you can, and please help the rain stop and do a miracle and save as many people as you possibly can. And you hear me pray? Amen. Now, those rains in Texas could continue today, but we need to talk about Tropical Storm Chantal, which has just formed here. Here is the center of it right here. It is pushing towards the southeast coast of South Carolina and North Carolina, and it's starting to get its act together here, but it's starting to run out of time here. Notice how the center of this thing is a little bit off kilter here. The convection is on the right side. Now, the latest advisory on Chantal does have this storm sitting at about 35 knots. That's about 40 miles an hour. So this thing's a weak tropical storm. Minimum central pressure about 1,009 millibars. So once again, this thing is not very strong at all, but it could go through some gradual strengthening during the day today, but the National Hurricane Center does not, I repeat, does not have this becoming a hurricane by the time it hits the South Carolina coast sometime during the morning on Sunday. The National Hurricane Center does have tropical storm warnings here in blue for Myrtle Beach all the way up through Wilmington, North Carolina. So heads up, our Carolina brethren, we got tropical storm conditions on the way. Now, here's the good news. None of the models have this thing becoming a hurricane. Even some of the more aggressive models are not saying this is going to become anything more than a tropical storm. So I think for the most part, we're going to be talking about gusty winds and heavy rain, maybe a couple of spin-ups, especially on that east side as well. All right, so how is this thing going to play out? Let me show you around Saturday, around 5 p.m. This is what this system should look like. Notice we got the center down here. We've got the outer bands swirling on the northern side, getting ready to crash into that Carolina coast. And once we get to about 8-10 p.m., that is when this system will likely come on shore late tonight, going into the early morning hours on Sunday morning. And notice on that east side is where all the action will likely be. This is where we could get a couple of spin-ups, could get a couple of tornadoes during the morning hours on Sunday morning. I don't think we're going to be talking about a tornado outbreak by any means. Just heads up, though, if you live from Wilmington down through Myrtle Beach and then back into South Carolina, we are going to get the outer band starting to spin around the north side as well. But Sunday during the day, this storm should move inland into North Carolina. Could get some heavy rain to our North Carolina brethren here, but it's going to dissipate pretty quickly. Now, the good news here, guys, this is the storm surge for the Carolina coastline, and it doesn't look like we're going to be talking about big-time surge at all. We could get some coastal flooding, especially here just north of Myrtle Beach. We got 1 to 3 feet here, and then 1 to 3 feet just south of Wilmington, south of Surf City, North Carolina. That is nothing to worry about. If you live along the coastline, expect some minor coastline flooding as that surge pushes in. But thank goodness we're not talking about big numbers by any means. All right, so we talked about that tropical storm Chantal. Now we need to talk about the severe weather that we're expecting today, possibly tomorrow. Let's start here in Wyoming, Montana, even in portions of South Dakota. We have a 3 out of 5 risk that is an enhanced risk that is centered right along that tri-state border. It is a terrible 5. Now, a couple interesting notes on today. We do have a non-zero tornado risk in 2 separate areas. Check it out. One here in Montana, just to the east of Helena, and then a second area along the South Carolina and North Carolina coast where we do have Chantal spinning here. Heads up our Montana and the Carolina brethren, you guys have a risk for some tornadoes today. But by far, the reason why we have this enhanced risk up there in the plains is because of this big time wind risk. Very strong wind is likely today. Oh, this is not good. I am cutting it so close to my flight. All for you guys. Here I am on the plane. Oh, I'm flying away. Look at the sun. I can't stop editing. This is so fun. I'm going to miss my flight. Now I'm on the wing. Oh, no. All right, so here's the big picture today. Here's how things could time out. Let's take a look. Let's go through about noon, 1, 2, 3, 4 p.m. Look at this. A couple of trouble spots. Here's your tropical system off the southeast coast. We've got more showers and storms working their way through Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. And then here is our severe weather in Montana. And then we've got some more rain for Texas, unfortunately. So let me zoom in on these severe storms here. Let me show you the timing on these. They're going to form probably around 3, 4, 5 p.m. and push off to the east. Could even have some supercells mixed into these storms as they do so. Strong winds are the primary threat, although we cannot rule out a tornado or two as these storms eventually move into South Dakota as a pretty strong line. Further off to the east here, our Chicago and Wisconsin brethren. If we do have anyone launching fireworks tonight here, notice we could get some storms from Iowa all the way up through Illinois into the upper peninsula of Michigan, so heads up there. And then further off the southeast coast, here's that tropical storm that continues to drop rain, so it's going to be a soggy, messy, windy night for our Carolina brethren as well. Thankfully, though, the rain here in Texas is going to wind down slowly throughout the day. We could have some more rain tomorrow, unfortunately. Oh man, my heart goes out to all of our Texas brethren. Just unbelievable what we've seen. All right, so we looked at today. What about tomorrow? We do have a slight risk here centered on the plains. Check it out. Our Kansas, Nebraska, and Colorado brethren. You could get some strong storms even down into portions of Texas and New Mexico. Also, some strong storms possible up for our Maine brethren. And then as this tropical system spins onshore, I would not be surprised to see a marginal risk induced down here, with maybe a 2% for some of that spin in the atmosphere from Chantal. Right now, though, our only 2% tornado risk is out in Nebraska, so we once again could get some plains magic, but not talking about a widespread tornado outbreak by any means. Now, if we take a look at how things are going to play out on Sunday, notice I'm going to pause it here around noon on Sunday, July 6th. Check it out. A couple of trouble spots here in South Dakota, leftover showers and storms. Here in the Midwest, could have a leftover cold front starting to slide through. Could have some showers along that as well. Check it out. Here's Chantal down here off the Carolina coast, and unfortunately, more rain for Texas. And as we go throughout the day, here's what will happen here. The storm Chantal will come on shore here. As it does so, to bring a lot of rain and wind with it. Could have some showers and storms along this front that pop in the afternoon and evening on Sunday. And here's our severe weather, though, in Nebraska. That's expected. We've got a little bit of a line that moves off the Rockies and slides its way to the east. Big time storms here, but check out that line. That should limit our tornado threat, but increase our wind threat. And then that line's gonna slam its way into Kansas on the night of July 6th. I know I'm looking a little ahead here, but check out Monday. We've got more severe weather potentially expected on Monday. We're gonna have that trailing cold front, so maybe strong storms possible in upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire. Then we'll also have another trailing cold front pushing back here, where we will have some severe storms possible in Nebraska and Kansas on Monday. Look at our Georgia and South Carolina brethren. There's this little hole here. Might not have any storms at all. Why did my voice get so high there? Not have any storms. All right, so what about our dew points and how miserable is it going to feel like for the next couple of days? Guys, unfortunately, the moistness is going to return in a major way. Let's take a look at July 5th here. We've got big time moisture surging to the north as that weak low is starting to pull that up from the Gulf. As that does so, notice how the eastern half of the United States right in here has been sitting just beautifully dew point wise. We've been below 60 in places like Detroit, Chicago, and New York. Unfortunately, that is going to change as we go throughout the week. Check it out. July 5th, July 6th, more moisture surging to the north. We got that tropical system bringing all that moisture onshore. We've also got that low bringing moisture back as well. Our moist weather is only going to return as we go into the middle to late part of next week. Good thing I'll be down in Florida and we'll have dew points in the upper 70s. Be water coming out of every orifice. All right, now let's take a look at temperature-wise. How are we looking? How are we feeling the next week? And unfortunately, it looks like the majority of the United States for Saturday, for Sunday, we're talking about 90s in the Midwest here. Could have a little bit of a cool down with that cold front starting to slide through Sunday, and then our southeast brethren, our Texas brethren, are absolutely baking. Going into Sunday, that cold front could bring some temporary relief as our highs, especially here in the Midwest, we're talking about 70s and 80s instead of 90s. But as we go throughout the week, that heat is going to build with that humidity as it pulls back. Going into Monday, going into Tuesday, going into Wednesday, we're going to be talking about temperatures in the lower to middle 80s with dew points in the 70s. So it's going to feel downright sticky, moist, and miserable. Wow, guys, I really gotta go. This is ridiculous. My flight literally leaves in an hour and 15 minutes. This is not good, but hopefully you all had a wonderful 4th of July. Seriously, guys, every 4th of July, I'm reminded how much in common we as Americans share. I think a lot of times we get focused on what divides us. Let's focus on what brings us together here. We've got a lot in common. So find a family member, find someone who you maybe are estranged with or disagree politically. Go over to them, tell them you love them, tell them you care about them. Bridge that gap. Because when it comes down to it, politics, just a game. Your family, all of your brethren in your life, that is what is truly important. So God bless each and every one of you. Now I'm going to Florida right now, and I'm going to be down there for a couple of days. So you'll probably see a little bit less Outbreak live streams. You might see me go live though if there's storms at the beach. I'm going to try to continue making those forecast videos though, because even though I'm on vacation, I got to keep you guys informed and the weather doesn't stop. So I got this is Stormcat 5 and this is Bald Eagle Cat 6, and we'll see you on the next one.